I might be the last person to meet Mac Miller, and here's a story of how it happened. Me and my friend took a trip to LA in July 2018, and we would have never guessed it would have ended like this with us meeting Mac Miller. We met Mac Miller at the end of our trip at JFK International Airport in New York, and we realized after the fact the only way that we met Mac Miller was if we were at the same time, same place, same luggage pickup, and if we were on the same flight together. It's crazy to think because on the flight itself, the whole time I was listening to Mac Miller, and the last song I listened to was In the Air off of his mixtape Best Day Ever while I was in the air with Mac Miller. I think most people aren't gonna believe that, but it's true. Anyway, here's the actual story. We land on our flight. We had a long day. We concluded a great trip. I said to my friend, let's just get out the airport and let's just take a breath and just pause before we call an Uber or a cab. We're standing on the corner and he turns to me and he says, that guy over there looks like Mac Miller. And I'm thinking to myself, white guy, tattoos, buzz cut, Mac Miller, right? He nods his head in the direction of the guy so I could see. And I see a guy standing there with a white shirt, gray sweatpants on, but he's pulling his hoodie over his head so I can't see his face yet. He takes off the hoodie, he puts it on top of his bag, and then he goes like this. And in that moment, I see the Pittsburgh P. Holy crap, Mac Miller is right behind me. I couldn't believe it. So once I saw that, I impulsively shouted out Mac. So then we walk in his direction, I shake his hand, and to be honest, I really just fanned out in front of him. Mac Miller is such an inspiration to me, and he's one of my favorite artists of all time. Been listening to him since Kids released. I met a ton of artists and celebrities in the past, but I never fanned out like this before, and he seemed really appreciative. He was just listening to me talk, and I kept rambling on, so I was like, okay, I want to hear Mac talk. This was around the time swimming was coming out and the tour was announced, so I asked him about the swimming tour, even though I pretty much knew all the details about it. We told him that we were going to go to the New York show, and he just told us about the tour, where he was going, and just kind of filled us in on that a little bit. What was weird about the situation is that while Mac Miller was standing 10 to 15 feet behind us, he wasn't with anyone and he wasn't doing anything. Like, his friends were 30 to 40 feet away from us, and people always bust my chops for this photo because I'm wearing the neck pillow. Mac Miller is right in front of me and I'm talking to him. The last thing I'm worried about in that moment or thinking of is my neck pillow when I take this photo. People need to understand that if you ever get in a situation like this, when you meet a celebrity, artist, whoever, or someone that you look up to, every second counts. The last thing I'm worried about at that moment is my neck pillow. After we speak to Mac Miller and he tells us about the tour, he goes off to his friends, the Uber comes up, he gets in the car first, and then his friends get in after. Around this time was when X passed away and Little P passed away, and I thought to myself, what if this is the last time I see Mac Miller? What if this is it? So I just remember watching the Uber drive away until I couldn't see it anymore, and unfortunately, it was the last time we ever would see Mac Miller. I'm just very appreciative that I got to be in that moment, and I got the opportunity to tell him how much he meant to me. And I hope that at that time it had some type of impact on his life. It seemed like he really did appreciate the words I had to say. People need to also understand, they also asked me, how is he like? He didn't look good in the photo. This is at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right off of a flight. And people need to understand that around that time was also when he split from Ariana Grande. And not only that, it's like she split from Mac Miller. It seemed like the next day she got with Pete Davidson. And then it seemed like the next day, she got engaged to Pete Davidson. I don't think Mac was in the right mental state, and even around the time, you could see that he was very eager to go on tour. Like, here's a tweet that he tweeted around that time saying he was just like dying to go on the tour, and I do believe that if he went on that tour, that he might still be with us. There was just so much going on in his life and in his mind, and it seemed like he really just needed to get out and travel and perform his music and be surrounded by people and fans and stuff like that. So we met him, and then I remember hearing about him passing away, and I was just in shock because he passed 2 months after I met him. And it felt like I just saw him the other day. He did have an impact on a lot of people's lives, and especially mine. I'm just so happy that I got the opportunity to meet him. It still doesn't feel real to this day. So that's how I met Mac Miller. Thank you guys. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. And I hope you guys enjoyed the story.